Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video on Bitcoin. Enough to talk about. Yesterday what we talked about is that it was most likely. Yesterday I think the price was still around 37,000 up here, I think. Yeah, I think that's about right. But yesterday we talked about that it was most likely that Bitcoin right here was at the top and that we would get some bearish momentum. I would say that's correct. Right now, though, the situation has changed a little bit because technically the thing is that right now Bitcoin has broken down below the 28 EMA, but it's holding the 50 EMA. So when we take a look at that historically, what has always happened is that Bitcoin has always retaken that 28 EMA and turned bullish again. That's historically what has happened. But right now, obviously, I mean, at some point of time, Bitcoin is probably going to get quite a big pullback, right? I mean, we're getting very high. If you compare these highs to where we were about a month ago, I mean, a month ago we were at 27,000. So at some point of time, you need a pullback. And at some point of time, Bitcoin is going to break down below the 28 EMA, like now, and it's not going to retake it. So it's either going to retake that, get back up to 37,600 and then consolidate and potentially break above 37,600 and rally up to the areas around 40,000, which by the way is still what I expect. All right, this hasn't changed my opinion on the long-term future, which still is a move like this eventually. But I would say, I mean, it's really 50-50 between retaking the 20 EMA or respecting this bearish breakout and getting a little bit more bearish momentum down to this area right here at 35,500, which is a strong support level. And it's also, as you can see, the bottom of this range right here. So I would even say this is a little bit more likely technically, but it all doesn't matter that much since today we also have a lot of big news. We have the CPI, we have the inflation rate. That's probably going to determine the direction of the markets. Even though Bitcoin right now is a little bit less correlated with the dollar strength index, which, I mean, the inflation rate and the CPI affects the dollar strength index, which in turn affects Bitcoin. It's not that correlated, but I do expect it to influence Bitcoin today. In general, if the inflation rate is higher than expected, all of these, so the CPI is also basically an inflation rate, but also the inflation rate, the core inflation rate, if they're all higher than expected, that's bearish. And if they're lower than expected, that's bullish. Now, I don't think, like if it's bearish, like if they're higher than expected, I expect Bitcoin to drop down to this level. I don't necessarily expect Bitcoin to now reverse and become bearish, all right? That's not what I expect. I don't think the main catalyst behind these moves was not the economic environment. It was something else. So the economic environment could have a negative effect, could even spike down all the way to 35,000. But it's probably not going to cause a bearish breakout or a reversal. I think it's more likely that it then will cause bearish momentum, but then followed up by recovery, consolidation, and still that move up. And if the results are positive, then I think the same is true. I mean, if the results are positive, then so they're lower than expected, then we might actually see a spike up to 37,600. But I don't expect that to break. I think then we'll just consolidate, perhaps even move down a little bit, and then eventually still get that bullish breakout. So on the short term, I think the news matters, but I think on the long term, it actually doesn't really. It's just going to affect the short term moves of Bitcoin and of the altcoins, most altcoins at least, and then afterwards we'll probably I mean it's going to have an effect on the outcome and the outlook of the next FOMC and the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, but apart from that, not much. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin for now. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If anything, you can let me know down in the comments. Apart from that, as you can see around the screen, I also have my own Signal group and premium group. If that sounds interesting, consider joining. Links to that will be down in the description. Signal group is profitable. Premium group I think is very valuable, but you can check that out for yourself. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.